Hello everyone, today we are here with grade 9 science chapter tissues. So let me just give you a brief introduction about tissues. Those who don't know, for them tissues are the group of cells, and these group of cells make tissues. Further, they make muscles, they make organs, and then a body, a living organism is made. So now the living organisms are either unicellular like amoeba or multicellular like human beings or plants. So this is a brief introduction about it, and just let me say you that in a unicellular organism all the life processes are carried out within a single cell, whereas in multicellular organism, because of the huge body size, it is difficult for each cell to efficiently cope with the vast variety of the psychological needs of the organism. So different cell just do the different work. So now let's move further to the introduction of tissues. So, a tissue is a group of similar cells that work together to form a specific function. Or you may also write like that, a group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function. It is called as tissue. So, tissues in tissues play form the structural and functional foundation of plants and animal. Okay, so now let me tell you that cells are the smallest structural and foundational and fundamental unit of a living organism. Okay, studying tissues helps us understand how organisms grow, repair and function. It makes us think likewise that we may just think biologically everywhere. Now let's move further. Today we are going to discuss all about plant tissue, meristematic tissue. So this is first type of plant tissue that divides throughout its life and help for the growth of the plant. And it has three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Then permanent tissue, which has lost its ability to divide further. It was once meristematic tissue, but now it has lost its ability to divide. So in permanent tissue we have more two types, that is simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. In simple permanent tissue we have parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue and sclerenchyma tissue. In that, let me tell you that parenchyma and collenchyma are the tissues which are living and sclerenchyma is dead tissue. I'll tell you why in further slides. Complex tissue. First type of complex tissue is xylem, which transports water, and second is phloem, which transports food in the plant. Plant tissue overview. So plant tissues are of two types, as I have told you in earlier slides, that is meristematic tissues actively dividing and permanent tissue specialized non-dividing. So now you might think that permanent tissue, they are not dividing, then what work do they do? Permanent tissues support the plant and do the work of transportation. Okay, so see here, permanent tissues further divide into simple permanent and complex permanent, as we have discussed in the previous slide. Meristematic tissue is composed of undifferentiated cells that are actively dividing and responsible for plant growth. Permanent tissue is made up of differentiated cells that have lost the ability to divide and have specialized functions such as support or transportation. So now here we have a differentiation table between the meristematic and permanent tissue. Let's go through it. Cells of this tissue divide throughout its life, and permanent tissue, they lose the ability to divide to take up specific function. They are located at specific regions of the plant, apical, lateral and intercalary. Then they are distributed throughout the plant body. Means in meristematic tissue, apical, lateral and intercalary are located at a specific place. We are going to discuss it in the upcoming slides. But till that, you just need to know this. Cells of this tissue are very active. They are very active. They grow intensely. They have dense cytoplasm, thin walls and prominent nuclei. They lack vacuoles. I'll tell you why they lack vacuoles, because when they grow rapidly, they do not have to store anything, and vacuoles store the food, right? So that is why they have no vacuoles. They are vacuolated. In permanent tissue, they have vacuoles. Vary in shape and size. Their cell wall may be thick. Cell wall is cellulosic. Cellulosic cell wall they have. Cell wall is made up of cellulose or lignin or suberin. So these are two types of substances with which cell wall is made. Let's move towards the further slide. Meristematic tissue. So here we'll see about the definition and its features. So let's move towards this definition. Cells that divide continuously to help in plant growth are called as meristematic tissue. They divide rapidly and help the plant to grow. What are the characteristics? They have thin cell walls. They have dense cytoplasm, large nucleus and no vacuoles, as we have discussed in the earlier differentiation table. Their types are apical meristem, intercalary and lateral meristem. Just you may see here the photo. In further upcoming slides we are going to discuss about it to see. Intercalary meristem, it increases internode length. Apical meristem present at the root and at the shoot. Root is the means bottom. We know what are roots, right? And the shoot is the tip of the plant. Okay. And lateral meristem, it increases the girth. Okay. Girth is simply the diameter or the width of the plant. See, apical meristem, where it is found, its location is at the tip of roots and shoots. As I have told you in the earlier table also. See here, it's at the root shoot and at the root, the orange shaded part of the picture. Its function is it is responsible for primary growth. You have to note this point. It is important for the primary growth and the increasing the length of the plant. Then intercalary meristem, found at the base of the nodes. See here, intercalary meristem, it is found at the base of the nodes, like in mint or internodes, at the base of the leaves, in like in grasses. Okay. What are its functions? It enables a plant to increase length in specific areas. It is in specific areas. Okay. And is crucial for regrowth after a plant is caged or cut. So now we may have some questions like, what if the plants plant is cutted or grazed, then how will it regrowth itself? Then it is intercalary meristem, I mean, which helps. Okay. Then lateral meristem, it is found on the sides lateral. See, it is found on the lateral sides of the mature stems and roots. Okay, what are its function? Its function is it is responsible for secondary growth. Again, it's important. Apical meristem is important for primary growth, and lateral meristem is required for secondary growth, which increases thickness or the girth of the plant. Example includes vascular tissue and core cambium. You have to note this, vascular cambium and core cambium. Okay, these are very important points. Now we are moving forward to permanent tissue. Okay, permanent tissue formed from meristematic tissue once cells lose the ability to divide. So these were once meristematic tissue who lost their ability to perform a specific function. Okay, so parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. So these are simple permanent tissues in this given figure. And now let us discuss about the types of the permanent tissue. Permanent tissue has three types: simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue and special tissues. Okay, but here what we are talking about, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissue, they are simple permanent tissue. So now we'll discuss about simple permanent tissue. Why they are called as simple permanent tissue and why complex permanent tissue? Because in simple permanent tissue they have only one type of cells, and in complex permanent tissue they have more than one type of cells present. Okay, now let's see its types: Collenchyma, Parenchyma and Sclerenchyma. See, here we have cross sections of Parenchyma, Collenchyma and Sclerenchyma and longitudinal sections. And let me give you a information that Parenchyma, Collenchyma are living tissues, whereas Sclerenchyma is a dead tissue, as I have told you earlier. Now let's come towards Parenchyma tissue. Most common basic tissue: thin-walled living cells, large intercellular spaces. What are its functions? Its functions are to storage of food. Functions are storage of food, photosynthesis, and buoyancy in aquatic plants. So now let us discuss about these functions of its. Okay, storage of food, photosynthesis, and buoyancy in aquatic plants. So now let me tell you, Sclerenchyma is a type of uh, tissue in parenchyma, we may say. Okay, for simple understanding. See, this Sclerenchyma tissue has a lot of chloroplast, which is a type of plastid. We have learnt it in cell chapter. And it has a lot of chloroplast, so it helps in the process of photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? It is a process by which plants make their food, and it also helps in buoyancy of aquatic plants. Now when we say aquatic plants, we think about lotus. When lotus plant is on the sea or on a aquatic like sea, then we think how it is on the sea. Then parenchyma tissue is a tissue which helps in the buoyancy in aquatic plants. Okay, let's move towards the further slide. Collenchyma tissue. It is living and flexible tissue and it has thickened corners. Okay, then its functions are to provide elasticity and mechanical support to the plant. It allows bending of leaves and stem without breaking. Like suppose if we just touch a leaf on a plant and we just bend it, or the stem of the plant, when we bend it, it does not breaks immediately, right? So it is because of the collenchyma tissue which gives flexibility and mechanical support to the plant. And the collenchyma tissue is also known as the flexible tissue. Okay, sclerenchyma. It has thick lignified walls. It is a dead cell. This point is to be noted that it is a dead cell because of the devoid of protoplasm present in this type of cells. Means in sclerenchyma tissues cells, protoplasm is devoided, so that is why they are dead cells. They have thick and lignified walls. Lignin is present, lignin is deposited, and they are very strong. Functions: provide hardness and rigidity, forms husk of coconut, gritty texture of pear. Here we see that husk of coconut is also hard, and gritty texture of pear. What does gritty means? Gritty means hard texture of pear. Okay, so this tells us sclerenchyma is a hard tissue. And let me tell you, sclerenchymatous cells are of two types: fibers and sclerites. So sclerenchyma fibers are usually husk of coconut, like fiber types, and like examples of it are jute, flax and hemp. And sclerites are gritty texture of pear and all. Let me tell you that fibers help in the commercial use, and sclerites are like the hard texture of apple, guava, pear and etc. Now let's come towards complex permanent tissue. So now complex permanent tissue are made up of different types of cells. Xylem that transports water and phloem that transports food. Okay, phloem components. Phloem components are tracheids, vessels, and tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Okay. See, xylem parenchyma. And phloem components are sieve tube, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Now let's come towards xylem. Okay. Xylem, first of all, carries waters and minerals from the roots of the parts, from roots to all the parts of the plant. First of all, roots are at the bottom in the soil. Then it occupies the water present inside the soil and it transports throughout the plant. Xylem has four parts: tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma. Now let's see tracheids. They have long and narrow cells. So tracheids, vessel, xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma are four parts, means there are four type of different tissues present in xylem. Okay, xylem is single tissue which has other tissues present. Long vessels are long tube-like cells. Xylem fibers, they provide strength. Okay, xylem parenchyma stores food. Okay, wherever parenchyma tissue is there, make sure that you think that parenchyma is always living tissue because parenchyma is never dead. Key points: mostly dead cells, walls are thick and lignified, transport is only upwards. So now when plant transports its water, it goes only upward. Okay, it won't come down. Phloem is the tissue that transports food like sugar made during the photosynthesis. Sugars are made during the photosynthesis, like you may think that it is the food of the plant. From leaves to all parts of the plant. Okay. See here, I want you to discuss this point first. Transport is both upward and downward. Like we have learnt in xylem, transport is only upward, but in phloem, transport is both upward and downward. Phloem has four parts: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Sieve tubes, main food transporting cells. Companion cells help sieve tubes work, and they help in giving them, food, the nutrients and all. Phloem fibers, they give support. Phloem parenchyma, they store food. They are mostly living cells, and as we have discussed earlier, transport is both upward and downward. Help supply food to growing and storage organs. Now, let's see how xylem and phloem transports. As I have told you, xylem only transports upward, okay, and phloem transports both upward and downward. Make sure this point. See, waters and minerals. One way flow of sap. Thick cell wall made with lignin. These cell walls of this tissue are made with lignin. Cells having no end walls between them. They have no end walls between them. Water and food. See, they are go together. Two way of flow and sap. These are the sieve tubes. Okay, these are the sieve tubes. Let me just show you. These are the sieve tubes. Thin cell wall made of cellulose. Okay, and this is the sieve plate. Okay, this is the sieve plate. Cells with end walls and perforations. Okay, now we are done with this, and now let's come towards the questions. Okay, so these three are the questions which you have to just solve it, and if so, you may also just give the answer of them in the comment section. And these are also the questions for your sake that you have to do it, and it will help you understanding. Here we are to the end of our presentation. Hope you liked the video and got some informative things. Okay, so I want you to like, share and subscribe this video for further explanation, and part 2 will be soon uploaded. Thank you everybody.